Hey guys, we're going to be in Acts chapter 20. Acts chapter 20, and we're going to be reading from verse 35. It says, I've showed you all things, how so that laboring ye ought to support the weak, and to remember the words of the Lord Jesus, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. There is no doubt, one thing that I have found out. Folks, receiving things is fine. I get it's a little awkward for me as a pastor sometimes. But I tell you what really gets me sometimes is the fact that people will give me things. I can remember, for example, I remember one time I made a mistake as a pastor. I had invited someone into the church to speak, and it was a war hero, and I thank God for that. I still to this day I thank God for this man's service. But I had not vetted him well, and when I brought him in, he proceeded to say a few words that were pretty foul, and said them in front of the church. And granted, they were not, and I don't mean to make an excuse. Granted, they weren't the worst of the worst, but it still broke my heart, just absolutely crushed me. And it wasn't this guy's fault. It was my fault for not having vetted, whether or not he'd ever spoken at church. I knew he had spoken all over the place, but I did not know that. But anyway, so at the end of it, I kind of got the deacons together and I said, guys, first of all, I apologize. And, a lot of those guys were like, look, we're all men. It's just part of this thing, man. And so I repented to the Lord. I did all those things, And I remember that, I told the deacons, I said, guys, listen to me. I said, we spend all these days, building up a good reputation as far as I'm concerned. I work, trying to gain your trust. And so I have this change in my pocket that I can use. And I said, I feel like I've spent all of that change today. I feel like I've spent it all up. Well, that afternoon, one of our members in the church brought me a jar of change, and on it it was so neat. It was called pocket change. He had written on the top of it pocket change, and I still have that on my desk to this point, saying that you haven't spent all the change up, man. He's just made a mistake, kind of thing. Giving. People give me stuff, little things a lot of times. So I've got coin. I've got a Booker T. Washington coin. I've got all these different things that are available to us, that are, it's like these that have been given to me. But it's an awkward moment. Let me tell you what's even greater. I got these things, and I enjoy getting those, and they were wonderful gifts, and I'm going to keep them for as long as I have a brain and can remember, what those things are for. But here's the thing, giving is so much better than that. To receive those things was an emotional thing, and those were very heartfelt things. But to just get stuff for stuff's sake, to stack up things and to have things cluttering your home or whatever, it's just ridiculous. But to be able to give to someone and love someone, to reach out, to take things to people, to, hey, buy a box of donuts and go to buy and hand them out, or someone's in need or has a bill that needs to be paid, not someone who just constantly begs and spends it on other things, but someone who just, man, is just, hard luck, just hard times. And to be able to give is so much better than to receive. What happens inside of you, I don't know how to explain it other than to say what happens inside of you is so incredible, that it will absolutely blow your mind. If you start small because you don't believe me yet. Start small and start giving to people who need it, who don't necessarily, who aren't always asking for things, but need something or struggling or something like that, and help them and see what God does inside of you. This verse, it is more blessed to give than to receive. The things that happen inside of the human body when we can break free of the I wants and I want to haves and start saying I want to give, it will shock you how beautiful the things that happen inside of you are. You won't be able to explain them. It will be wonderful. It is more blessed to give than to receive. See you guys. Bye-bye.